green on OBS. Green on YouTube. Alright, green on Twitch. What is that?
Just my phone. Plug it into the Xbox.
Yeah, plug it into the Xbox. Sorry, I wish you'd asked me about that earlier.
That's easy enough.
Alright. Alright, good evening, sports fans, for a very special 4th of July Independence edition of League 1 football. We have for you this evening an exciting single game, but it is a big game for the Syracuse Orange at home against NC State, a massive recruiting game for the Orange, so an important game all around. So we will see what they can do against NC State, a very good roster, which Coach Spectre will now run us through real quick before we get kicked off.
Good evening, sports fans. Happy Independence Day. Today is the day that Will Smith saved us from aliens. We'll be taking on NC State, the 14th ranked Syracuse Orange, at home once again after a 4-game road trip back in the friendly confines of the Carrier Dome in upstate New York. A welcome home game for the Orange. We'll be taking on a team led by an impact player quarterback. He's an 89, Ryan Finley, and Nyheim Hines, a 92 junior halfback. He'll be the star of the show on offense, along with a 93 fullback, Jalen Samuels, number 1, to go with number 7. At wide receiver, Harmon, Lewis, and Myers make up for about 150, 170 yards a game passing. It's mixed between them, although Lewis seems to get most of the yardage if you want to pick a favorite. Cole Cook involved in the offense, an 82 tight end, and a decent offensive line with an 84 left tackle, an 84 left guard, an injured center. There's a weak spot there. Skolthrop will come in as a 76. But on the right side, a 90 senior right guard and a 91 right tackle will give them a lot of strength there on the right side of the line. Going to make it difficult for us to run our normal scheme, but we'll at least start the game that way and see how it goes. At left end is Contavious Street. He's not the star on the D-line. That, of course, is Bradley Chubb, last April's 5th overall pick to the Denver Broncos. Defensive end Bradley Chubb, the edge rusher. He's a 98. He's scary. He's deadly. He's quick. D-tackle B.J. Hill is hurt, so Jones and Bryant will be playing most of the snaps, and we'll see if they line up with a 3-man front or a 4-man front as to whether or not we might be able to take advantage of Endurius Bryant. Pratt's hurt at outside linebacker. He is out, and Fernandez is the starting middle linebacker, so Assayas will be the starting left outside linebacker. He's going to have 55 awareness, switching positions from middle to left. And other than that, Arius Moore, an impact player on the right outside linebacker position. The secondary led by Mike Stevens, but McLeod and Alston have high awareness both. So we will look to see where we might be able to take advantage of that. Dexter Wright, a solid free safety, and Sean Boone, an excellent strong safety, as an 88 strong safety. A senior with 82 awareness. Kicker's pretty good, special teams pretty good, all across the board. This is an offensive team that likes to throw the ball. We know that. And again, they're led by Ryan Finley and the halfback, Nyheim Hines. On defense, of course, Bradley Chubb. We'll look to avoid him. And for our part, We're going to try to avoid turnovers. We had 4 last week in the win over Clemson. We were able to get the win despite that. We're going to try to minimize those this week, as well as attain a couple of recruiting goals. So without any further ado, I'm going to pass it back over to Coach Ninja. He's going to give you the play-by-play here on the game, and we're going to hope to get the W here in front of our home fans once again. Thank you for joining us, and once again, happy 4th of July.
Coach dotting his T's and crossing his I's here, making sure that he gets all the recruits to this game that he wants. Quality team at NC State. Overall A- with an A offense and a B+ defense. Looking at the 21st in scoring, 17th in passing, and number 8 in turnover differential with 6 in the positive. Yeah. The Syracuse Orange, not too far behind, 2nd points per game and +4 in turnovers.
Syracuse intro. I'm excited. I love the Syracuse intro.
It's a bit too dark for me. It's yeah, the Wolfpack defense, all except for the rushing defense, which they're 75. The rest are all past the century mark. They rely on that offense and that passing offense, which is number 17 in the country. Similarly, you look at the Syracuse Orange. They have a fantastic rushing offense and overall great yards. Rushing defense and great yards per game. Defense at 30th, but points per game is where they lead the pack at 2nd in the country.
Hi everybody. Appreciate you bringing you the EA Sports NCAA Football 14 pregame show presented by Nissan. Innovation that excites. Syracuse has looked almost unbeatable the last few weeks. They're finally playing the way they knew they could before the season started. You know how this game is. You're only as good as your last one. So they're going to have to prove it on the field again today. That's going to do it for us here on the pregame show. NCAA Football 14 action coming at you right now. Fred Nessler and Kirk Herbstreit.
One of the most storied legacies in the history of college football.
I started my coaching career, I had a dream. And every decision that I made, that I will be the head football coach at Syracuse University. Undefeated, untied,
1959 national champions.
Syracuse has scored an undefeated season, and the team carries Ben Schwartzwalder off the field.
It's going to be the greatest victory that you kids have ever had.
Dozens of the most prolific and impactful players in the game. The first African American to win the Heisman Trophy. 6 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 53 All-America selections.
We need to make this place the hardest place to play in the country. We need you. We need everyone. This is our state, our town, our team, and we gotta win. Now, go Orange!
Spanning more than 10 successful seasons and covering the country from California, Ohio, North Carolina, and Virginia. This is League 1 NCAA football.
Don't you let anyone steal history away from you.
Since 1889, this is Syracuse football.
NC State receiving the kick will begin on offense. Coming out with an unusual package of a fullback and 4 wide receivers. And Stephen Lewis gets 30 yards after shedding the first guy, and now we see a hurry up. Again, this is 5 wide receivers, but one of those guys is a fullback. Antoine Cordy, great breaks to stop his motion and be there for the deflection. And now we see a much more conventional single back 4 wide, at least in personnel. And Hines is in the backfield on the right. He takes the handoff, he runs quite laterally, and he makes a cut to get 7 yards on second down for Nyheim Hines. Still hurrying up, it is 3rd and 3. This time, Hines lies up behind the quarterback. And the quick slant to Harmon goes for 12. And the Wolfpack still in hurry-up mode. And that's a touchdown-saving tackle for the Orange after Syracuse gets out of the backfield on the run. There was contact, but he escaped. Great job to prevent the touchdown by the secondary. And again, the secondary comes up big. They get in and make sure that he can't come down with the pass. 2nd and goal from the 5. We see 5 wide against a goal line set. And CJ Riley catches the ball outside the end zone and narrowly slips the defender to get in. It's the first points of the game for the Wolfpack. Excellent coverage, but with nobody getting through the line, he had the time to throw.
Time for an update from the studio. Reese, what have you got? The battle for the Red River, Oklahoma and Texas. Here are 2 teams that hate each other 365 days a year. And today was no different. Mayfield's big-time arm was on full display, tossing 4 touchdown passes in this one. Oklahoma finishes it off 38-21. All right, thanks, Reese. Back to live action here.
And now, the Orange are back to receive their first kickoff of the game. We'll see if they can respond. It's only been just 1 minute as Ishmael gets the edge and is going all the way. That is a very quick touchdown and a very quick response from the Wolfpack and the Orange. They call him Ishmael, and he absolutely harpooned that behemoth on that first kickoff to tie the game up and get ahead of steam in the momentum for the Orange. Definitely, the first downs, the pace, that was all good for the Wolfpack's momentum, but you got to believe that a kickoff return touchdown is worth more than that. So the momentum now slightly in the Orange's favor as Saheem Cullen gets up and barely doesn't make the play for the pick, but makes a great deflection and a great read. As we now see again, single back and 4 wide receivers. Hines in the backfield on 2nd and 10. Jacoby Myers muscles his way past a couple of defenders who each can't take him down solo. Gets 35. And Nyheim Hines only gets 1. He's pushed back and gets 3rd and 2. Minute and a half into the game. And Harmon slips a tackle and runs for the 32-yard touchdown.
Carolina State up 6, and he adds the extra point.
It hasn't even been 2 minutes, and we've already seen 21 points on the board. It is 14-7 Syracuse. NC State has the bulk of time of possession with 2 hurry-up offense touchdowns, whereas the Orange got a very long return for a touchdown on their first kickoff return. They got 21 yards that time. They'll start on their own 16. Four down linemen versus 5 wide here. And that's the traditional starting ritual of the middle slant. Ishmael has to stutter step to get the catch, and good thing he does because he had a defender behind him. So that's a great eyes to not only know that he needed to make the catch, but to stop and manage it, worth the loss of yardage to prevent the pick by Ishmael. Dungy keeps it. He gets 4 yards as we see somebody from the defensive backs coming in on a blitz that read the quarterback after the read man definitely went for the halfback. It's now 3rd and 7 for the Orange.
From their own 19-yard line. 3rd down. They'll spread the field with 5 wide. Now he's scrambling. And he has it on the corner. He gets hit out of bounds.
And Dungy makes it over the first down line before he gets hit out of bounds. That was inch perfect there from Dungy. Defender was closing that window tightly.
First and 10. Ball on the 27.
Seeing a single back offset now for the Orange, as they take their time at the line of scrimmage to look at this defense with a 4-man front. Phillips across in the drag gets a great gain of 7 on first down. 2nd and short, as Eric Dungy is now 2 for 2.
Second down. You're going to need about 3 yards to pick up the first down. Empty backfield. Quarterback in the gun. 5 wide receivers.
Ishmael on the drag route there. You can see that Coach wanted to get it away pretty quick as he saw that there was a lot of people in the box, a lot of people who usually would have been pretty far back as safety coverage. It seemed like the blitz was pretty obvious, and he wanted to get it away quickly and had a good play for that to get the yards needed for first down. Rushing to the line with the play clock at single digits. And Strickland gets 1 yard on forward progress.
Second down.
Dungy keeps it on the option and gets 4, making it 3rd and manageable on their own 44-yard line. And that's over the middle to the back. Dante Strickland coming on the angle route. Great pocket motion to get enough time for Strickland to pass his defender to ensure that it went for a 13-yard gain instead of just the 4 of the 5 that would have made it close. On second down, Strickland gets 7 running up the gut. He was hung up in traffic in a drag route on first down, and that is one of many things that led to the incompletion. But we're just over a minute away from the end of the first, and Syracuse has 3rd and 3.
Third down, and they're going to need about 3 yards to pick up the first down. They spread the field in the gun with 5 wide receivers.
And Ishmael makes a great play to catch the ball and then muscle past the 3 closing defenders to ensure that he gets across the line after having to come back to make the catch.
This is the 12th play of this drive.
With a lot of defenders in the backfield and unable to get the pitch off, Dungy loses 4 on first down.
From the 35-yard line, second down. Scrambling around. They'll make the sack. So after 1 quarter of play, can it continue to be this high scoring? NC State's lead is a touchdown. And we're ready for more football here in quarter number 2.
It is 3rd and very long for the Orange, but they are 3 for 3. I apologize for that. Never. Coach making sure that he sends out the right leg. They are on the 40. This is the difficult no man's land. Looks like he decides against the leg. And that's the right decision. As the defense is exactly wrong for the 4 verticals, and Ishmael gets about 30 yards there to take them well into the red zone. 1st and 10 on the 13. An aggressive move that that paid off because the defensive look was exactly wrong.
First and 10. Ball on the 13.
Tight end right, halfback left in the shotgun. Slot receivers on the left as well. And nobody was open, and the pressure was coming, so Dungy smartly throws it away. Dangerously close, though, to somebody's shins and their hands. But attempting to make the smart move, the awareness move there by Dungy. This time the split big. Dungy keeps it gains 1 yard. It's 3rd and long in the red zone now.
Third down, 9 to go. Ball on the 12-yard line.
Seeing an I formation from the Orange. This is, I believe, the 2nd or 3rd time. Play action. Miscommunication there between the quarterback and the receiver, whether it was going to be the comeback or the cut in, and that led to the pick. 4 wide receivers, Hines in the backfield. C.J. Riley only gets 2 as the defender is draped all over him. And this time he throws it away. Finley now gets 3rd and long. With 1 foot in, that's 1st down. Incomplete. 2nd and 10. Although you've got to believe that with that last pick, NC State is now leading in the momentum battle. It's part of the reason why they're making these catches. And Hines slips some tacklers, gets 16 on the ground.
Converts the extra point. Let's get an update now. Here's Reese Davis. Reese?
Check out what's happening in Chestnut Hill. And for Clemson, we might have an upset percolating in this one. The Eagles on top, 10-7.
And for Syracuse, they just played this Clemson Tiger team last week. And it looks like they're ready for the kickoff. And he got all of this one. Great kick.
Phillips catches it deep, takes it out, and gets stopped around the 14.
They threw a pick the last time out. Should be interesting to see what they do this time.
And we'll see how aggressive this defense is when they come back out. I wouldn't be surprised if they kept up the pressure and tried to fluster this quarterback some more.
And Strickland with 3 up the gut.
It's second down, 7 to go. Ball on the 15. There are 5 wide receivers. The quarterback in the gun.
Ishmael makes the catch and the cut to get 9 and get first down. And the scramble out into the flat goes for 3 when Dungy gets stood up.
It's second and 7. Ball on the 27-yard line.
Great play by Sean Avant there to leap for the catch and use that momentum to take him upfield for first down. This time the drag route goes to Strickland, and he gets 6 before he's tackled.
Picked up a nice gain of 7 yards on that play. Great pass.
They're about 4 yards away here on second down. He's on the run. Great pressure on the quarterback. Forced that incompletion.
They really pounded him on that throw.
Unable to get it off, Dungy is now at 3rd and 4 from his own 41.
They're about 4 yards away here on third down. They'll spread the field with 5 wide. And that looked like a pretty good move as they called timeout before the play clock ran out. So it's third down now.
Alright.
He's scrambling. He's under some heat. Steps out of 47.
The timeout and the audible there gets Syracuse Orange into enemy territory. Under 3 minutes and the clock is live. And finally getting space out in the flat. Dungy throws out to Phillips in a ton of green space for a massive play.
It's the 9th play of the drive. Let's see if they can put that last interception behind them and do something different this time.
Mahoney and Dante Strickland takes it up the gut.
It's 2nd and 8. Ball on the 8-yard line.
2nd and goal from the 8. Clock is ticking at the end of the second. Dungy dives and gets the touchdown.
When the East is in the house, oh my God. When the East is in the house, oh my God. When the East is in the house, oh my God. When the East is in the house, oh my God. When the East is in the house, oh my God. When the East is in the house, oh my God. When the East is in the house, oh my God. When the East is in the house, oh my God. Oh my God.
Now a one-score game. NC State has 1 minute and 30 seconds and 3 timeouts before the half. They are a pass-happy team to begin with. We'll see what their 2-minute drill looks like. An excellent read on the screen pass. The first tackler slowed Hines down enough that other people were able to come in and prevent the first down on the screen pass. Without that first hit, it would not have been there. And that was definitely a manual play. And additionally, the short pass costs a timeout. Another screen. Syracuse uses the timeout this time, as it is now 3rd and long for the Wolfpack. And the pass is accurate to Harmon for 12. And we continue to see a hurry up from the Wolfpack. We saw it when they didn't need it, and we continue to see it in the 2-minute drill. The juke move by Lewis throws one defender in the path of another. Syracuse has 1 timeout remaining and 59 seconds. Ishmael catches it deep in the end zone. Solid blocking. He's behind a lot of blockers. He's running across the field. He's wasting time. He's doing the Madden move. And he scores, taking as much time off the clock with a 106-yard return.
Do it now. I told you, do it now. Let's go.
He splits the uprights with the extra point.
Ishmael's second return for a touchdown makes it a one-score game again, as now we see 43 seconds left for NC State and 2 timeouts.
Momentum swings have been fairly even. And with so little separation, this game can be drastically changed on just 1 or 2 plays. North Carolina State is up by a touchdown. Tackled for a loss.
Hines is tackled for loss. And the clock continues to move. The play clock says that NC State is going to have to call a play before the end of the half. Syracuse elects to call the timeout, not liking their formation for what they think might be a Hail Mary. And Himes gets the handoff as the Wolfpack decide they really like the look of the quarter to run against, but it doesn't do anything for them, and we now come into the halftime 28-21, NC State.
NCAA Football 14 halftime show presented by Nissan. Innovation that excites. Reese Davis and David Pollock here, completely locked in on that first half. We've been looking forward to this game all week, and it has lived up to billing. A close game. You feel like that it's going to be a great second half, and boy, we've got the perfect guys in the booth. What a reward today for Nessler and Herbstreit to get this game.
Well, you know, it's not a secret, Reese. They get the best game every week that we think's on the schedule, right? So they got this great. It's great. It's close. It's going back and forth. I mean, what a treat to watch one of the best games of the year just unfolding in front of us, and more importantly, to hear the silky smooth sounds of Kirk Herbstreit and Brad Nessler. Does it get any better?
I can only hope that Nessler and Herbstreit will bring the same type of intensity to their call of the second half that David and I have brought to the halftime show. Of course, they always do. That's it for us here in the studio. Time to get you back out to the guys for the second half.
Syracuse set to receive. An advantageous position in any game. Extra helpful when trailing. Ishmael tries to make sure that his blockers are set. One of them gets blown up, but he sheds the guy anyway. Gets a 46-yard return. Ishmael's return's key for keeping Syracuse as close as they are. He's got 14 points by himself on special teams. This is an ace shotgun here. Strickland takes the handoff and loses a yard, being tackled from behind by Contavious Street. Shotgun big here. No tight ends, but 2 backs in the backfield offset. Dungy doesn't like the passes and runs away. He gets the edge and makes a blistering 24-yard run with the entire village chasing him.
From the 35-yard line, it's first down.
Mahoney hands off to Strickland, who takes 2 yards on the inside zone. And Strickland stays on the ground. But it looks like he's back in the huddle. Sorry, I saw number 4 on the screen. I actually saw a guy with Strickland on his back walk into the huddle. But we'll see what happens to Strickland shortly. It's now 2nd and 8 as we have 5 wide receivers in Wolfpack territory. Tight coverage forces Dungy to try and slip for the scramble up the gut. Loss of 2 on it's 3rd and long. Number 4, Strickland, will return soon. And Dungy gets out of bounds, and a late hit there. Dungy is doing yeoman's work on the ground as opposed to Strickland, who is taking all the attention, getting yards up the gut. But a worthwhile endeavor for Strickland, as we see the decision to keep Strickland out until he is all better, not wanting to risk further injury. And that, of course, leads to the question, not who is the second halfback, because, of course, next man up at Syracuse going to be solid, but who is the third, and how effective is he going to be on 2 halfback formations? So Perkins gets his first handoff of the game out of the eye from Mahoney. 2nd and 9 from the 18. And it looks like after being cleared by the docks, Dante Strickland is back. He catches it, but it gets jammed out. It's 3rd and 9.
This is the 8th play of the drive. They'll line up with 5 wide receivers.
Ishmael wide open from the line of scrimmage all the way to the end zone. And I got to believe it looked good even before the snap with the way that defense was lined up. Sometimes if you get a defense that looks right on the 5 wide, you can know that right slot receiver may or may not be open late, but he's definitely going to be open in the first 6, and you can hit that quickly if you know it's a possibility. And that defense gave the right look, and the pass got off quickly enough. Yeah, as soon as that defensive back moved over, the sign was there. It looked good. The key was knowing the look and knowing not to be, because you were trying to hit that, because coach was trying to hit that. Usually he likes to be early pocket movement on the 5 wide. But you can't do that if you're trying to hit that pass immediately.
power of Grayskull. Cringer became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret.
You don't want to squander any possessions, but maybe now's the right time to dip into your bag of tricks a little. Think about some ways to...
And now we'll see what NC State can do. And it's the first sack of the game for Thomas after trying to gain pressure all the first half. Second and 17, deep in their own territory. Myers gets 5. It's still going to be 3rd and long, but Thomas got a good hit in that was not too late. Butler with the key deflection as the Wolfpack got the pass off right as the hit was leveled against the shins, forces the punt on 4th and 12. That, my friends, is a 3 and out. The Orange taking care of business here in the 3rd. Good blocking, good patience. Ishmael gets 17 yards into enemy territory. Great field position for the Orange.
They ran the ball very well on their last drive, and it resulted in 6.
Dungy audibles into the eye. And Perkins gets 1 yard up the middle. More audibles from the Oranges. They don't like the defense. And Riley gets the dive on the slant to get 14 yards. Strickland out of the backfield for 4 on the run as we are just about to hit the 2-minute mark in the 3rd. This is a tie game in the Carrier Dome. Strickland on the angle route gets about 7. It seems that the very wide set of the defensive line here is forcing a lot of linebacker use, which opens up some space right behind him, as Dungy looked like that pass was wide open. It was only the very athletic play by the defender to leap and deflect that prevented that from being a touchdown. Otherwise, an excellent play by the Orange on first down for the long pass. And this time, Ravian Pierce, the tight end, catches it and leans across the line for the touchdown. And this is the first lead of the game for the Orange. Profferter puts it into the end zone, but at a tempting distance, and Alston runs it out. On the 22, single back, 4 wide receivers. And the quick pass to Riley goes for 13. Hines gets the handoff for real this time, but stopped for 2 by the defensive back. Myers gets 4, makes it 3rd and 4 on the 9. And a bang, bang, bang series. The NC State Wolfpack ties it up.
got the result you always want on the last drive. Let's see if it happens again.
So much of the passing game is about the timing between the quarterback and his wide receivers. And right now with this offense, they are in sync, and really the timing and execution is flawless.
Strictly picks up about 5 yards on that hookup.
Syracuse hurrying up here at the end of the third. Riley deep in space, 51-yard gain. And Dungy gets deflected on first down, but the clock is stopped. 5 seconds left in the third. And the Orange are right back down in scoring position after a 51-yard bomb where Dungy got out into space and had time to toss the long bomb for 51 yards to Riley.
It's 2nd and 10. Ball on the 20. 5 wide. He's going to try and scramble. And they push him out at the 10. That's the end of 3, and get ready for an action-packed fourth quarter with this game all tied up.
Stops short of the defender and puts him in the end zone. And only 32 seconds into the fourth quarter, you got to believe the Orange are happy with the way that the timing is looking. This time, Alston elects to keep it. Take the touchback, excuse me. Team tackling, taking down C.J. Riley in space. And once again, another very fast score by NC State. Sheds 2 tackles and a lot of good blocking. And that's a tie game.
He really got a hold of that kick. He's to the 20. Tackle made at the 17. We might have overtime in the back of our minds, but down on the field, that hasn't occurred to anyone. They want to end this thing in regulation. They come out in an empty backfield. He's scrambling. He airs it out.
And Ishmael gets 43 yards right at the edge of the out of bounds.
So after the big pass play, we've got a first down. They'll spread the field with 5 wide. Here we go. Scrambling around. Quick pass, intercepted.
It was time for somebody to step up and make a play, and boy, did the defense come through. Now they've got a chance to take the lead. That was huge.
From their own 30-yard line, it's first down.
Son of a bitch! Give me a drink! Son of a bitch! This can't be me! Son of a bitch! If I can't get clean, I'm gonna drink my yeah!
Fires out to his receiver.
Riley gets hit short. It's going to be 3rd and 2. And we continue to see the hurry up.
On the sideline and to make sure everybody's on the same page.
He splits the uprights with the extra point. Set to kick this one away. Excellent kick.
Ishmael takes it. And with an unblocked defender, gets stopped early on the 13.
quarterback in the gun with 5 receivers.
Now he tries to buy some time. He's out to the 30. He steps out at about the 30.
Dungy with the 20-yard rush under good coverage. Mahoney in. A hand off to Strickland. Gets 6. And that is the second pick for that defender, and an incredible play. The throwaway here, a good start for the Orange defense. Harmon only gets 1, tackled quickly. This is the 3rd and long that the Orange have been looking for.
Before the ball was snapped, I think it allowed him to change the protection at the line of scrimmage. When he changed that protection, the offensive line knew the blitz was coming. That allowed them to be able to pick up the blitzers, and then the quarterback could sit back there and make the right.
Looks to a receiver, touchdown.
Moving downfield with speed, NC State makes it a 2-score game. Yeah.
What? Come on.
Great blocking. Ishmael is down the sideline. And the touchdown returns, that's 3 of them. They have been incredibly important for keeping Syracuse in this game. That's a 1-score game, ladies and gentlemen. 4:15 left to go.
By the power of Grayskull. Cringer became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret.
Hofrichter puts it deep, and Hines elects to kneel it.
Any good football team has to have an ability to answer, and that's exactly what we just saw. One team scores a touchdown, the other team comes right back and puts another touchdown on the board. This is getting exciting.
Let's see if they can stop the
Finley throws it away. It's now 2nd and 10. Touchdown saving tackle, but Lewis is damn close to the end zone. Ishmael again gets the catch. Is on the edge. Gets hit out of bounds at the 46. Important field position here for the Orange. Tyrone Perkins, 33 yards, has to stop to get it, though. Ishmael dives for the touchdown. And with under 2 minutes, Syracuse elects to kick off to NC State. Down by 7. And some rearranging of the depth chart here for the Orange to get some speed at the left outside linebacker position. And he tosses it away on the screen. That not only costs it down, but also stops the clock. Gives time to breathe for the Orange. And Hines only gets one. It's going to be 3rd and long on an opportunity for the Orange, hence the timeout. Ishmael has to move a lot laterally and gets hit out of bounds on the 32. Dungy throws to Butler. They get 59 yards. That's the big gain that they needed to be in scoring range. Down by 2 scores, under 2 minutes. And Phillips gets 7 yards, but he's stopped short of the end zone. And Ishmael gets 1, and again, it's short. But this time, the pass to Ishmael is in.
Touchdown was the end result of their last drive as this offense moved the ball very well with their passing game.
Thomas back in at linebacker. Hines gets 5.
Give me a fucking fuck off. That's it.
And he gets 8. That's first down.
Syracuse will have 1 timeout remaining.
That's a huge recruiting game. There goes the national championship. We scored 63 points and lost. What do you do? What do you do?
And with that knee, that's the end of it in a rough one for the Syracuse Orange. A tough battle, 63 points, and never gave up. It's hard to lose a game like that. But NC State, one thing we knew coming into this game, personnel and playbook-wise, was an excellent matchup against the known weaknesses of the Syracuse Orange. A poor secondary versus a team that really, really liked to pass and had quality at receiver. 629 yards, 9 touchdowns, an incredible game. And a lot of long passes from broken tackles, burned coverage. But we play on hard for a reason, and you know that next week you're going to see a Syracuse team that has definitely learned from what happened in this game. So thank you for joining us on this Independence Day. We hope you had a good 4th and enjoyed it, and we thank you for all your commiserations after this tough loss by Syracuse, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. We should at least have a user game, if not possibly a double header. Have a great rest of the week, and thank you for joining us.